All right, this one's going to get personal, but it's also going to involve something that sounds like medical advice, and I need to clarify as I put on my glasses to make me look like I know what I'm talking about. That this is not going to be medical advice. It's going to be for entertainment and education purposes only. Any compounds, drugs, anything in that scope that I talk about, it's down to you to do your own research, talk to a medical professional, because that ain't me. I get people to lift heavy things in the gym and talk about emotions, and I have an interest in this area because I'm looking at starting a family with my missus in the next year or two. And with my history of performance enhancing drug use, I've been chasing down the rabbit hole of finding everything I can on fertility to make sure that when it comes to the point where we say, yes, let's actively try to make babies, that I can be in the optimal spot to do that. So, with all of that, and to be very clear that nobody is to take medical advice from me, I'm going to talk through a theoretical protocol that I'm going to work with a wellness doctor on for myself. That's going to take about 6 months to get my balls to full function, full health, and to not need to use any drugs while me and my partner are trying to conceive. There's going to be four phases to what I do here. There's going to be a transitioning off of testosterone because I've been on the TRT buzz for the last year and a half, 2 years, and been feeling pretty good on it. Nothing crazy. TRT does not make you bodybuilder jacked, but I have my history of over a decade of drug abuse when I was being a bodybuilder. So phase one is going to be coming off testosterone. It's going to last about 2 weeks. Phase two is going to be the reactivation of my balls, which is going to take 3 to 8 weeks. Then we'll have the fertility optimization period, which will take, it'll bring me between week 9 and week 24 in this protocol. Then phase four is maintenance, month 6 and onwards, where I'm planning to be on zero drugs. So, to break down all of that and what it all means, phase one is really simple. Those 2 weeks, I will have stopped taking testosterone. It'll take longer than 14 days for all active drugs to be out of my system because testosterone and enanthate, it's got its half life, it's got its active life, it's got all of that. 14 days is not enough time for it to completely exit the body, but it will be gone enough that me starting to supplement and change my food, sleep, and all of that will put me in a position to start using the couple of drugs we're going to discuss to help me get back to where I need to be. So during those 2 weeks, the real focus is going to be using CoQ10, NAC, carnitine, which will probably be injectable, and increasing my red meat, organs, all of that stuff to give me zinc and selenium rather than needing to supplement those as well. But when I start week 3, that's where we're going to start introducing HCG and HMG. HCG is essentially going to mimic luteinizing hormone, or LH as you might see it as on your blood work, which is essentially what keeps your Leydig cells producing testosterone inside the testes, which gives them their full size. Because if anybody's watching this and they've not been on testosterone before, while you're on testosterone, your balls go from whatever hefty size they were down to little raisins. You need to get them back to full size in order to get them up to full function. HMG acts a little bit more like FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, which essentially gets the Sertoli cells healthy and gets them producing sperm. The other thing that's going to layer in with that, and in terms of dosage, I'm playing around with it and I will need to talk to the professionals about it, but it's going to look like probably 1,000 units of HCG 3 times a week, and the HMG probably in the realm of about 150 micrograms, I believe is how HMG is measured from memory. Also, like 3 times a week. Within that, I'm also going to start using a SERM, which is a selective estrogen receptor modulator called Clomiphene or enclomiphene, depending which one I get. Clomiphene will be about 50 milligrams a day. Enclomiphene will be about 12.5. It's a little bit stronger, so you need a little bit less of it. But that's essentially going to work by blocking estrogen at the brain level that will signal my hypothalamus and pituitary to say, hey, we need more testosterone. So the combination of those three things will start to get everything activated and moving again. The third phase, which I find to be probably, in my mind, the newer, more exciting part, is where I start throwing in Kisspeptin. That's the thing that's pretty new to me because I've a lot of experience with talking about HCG, HMG, and clomiphene from all the years of people saying that's how you PCT. Kisspeptin is a peptide that activates the GnRH neurons in your brain. It's essentially the master switch that tells your brain to tell your hypothalamus to start producing and releasing LH and FSH itself. Because at the end of the day, while I'm taking HCG and HMG, they are doing the job that I want my body to do for itself. But during that phase of bringing everything back on, you need to get those systems up and running so that when you signal your brain to start doing that again, it knows what it's doing. Think of it kind of like pushing a bike up the road with the kid on it and then letting go. You're getting a bit of momentum and then they figure it out themselves. The kid is the Kisspeptin. It's essentially going to give the ability to restore the rhythmic pulse of GnRH for faster than what the serums can do alone, because the clomiphene will help that to happen by itself. This is kind of new and exciting because in studies, and it is just basic studies, there's not that many on Kisspeptin that can be validated, but the ability to restore that rhythmic pulse seems to look very promising. And if you've been suppressed for a long time, like I have been, this might be the missing link to restart everything and get you moving without the need for further drugs. As I say, it's still being studied. Early results are promising on both testosterone levels and sperm parameters when used in a fertility context. Phase 3, we're at the fertility optimization between week 9 and week 24. So just to catch you up, we're week 3 to 8. We're looking at HCG, HMG, and Clomiphene. That week 9 period is where we'll start looking at the Kisspeptin, but we'll start gradually tapering off the HCG since my own LH should be starting to come back because of the Kisspeptin. We will keep in some lower dose HMG support for a couple of months during that 9 to 24 week period to continue stimulating sperm production while it fully comes up to do its own thing. I'll stay on the Clomiphene or N-Clomiphene, whichever one I run with, basically whichever one the doctor can prescribe me, to reinforce the pituitary signaling. So ideally it's not going to be very high dose, it's going to be low but consistent to give the timing that the body would naturally have. And also in that period of fertility optimization, I'll be really focusing on antioxidants, continuing the L-carnitine, looking at my omega-3s, everything that improves cellular energy and sperm motility. A sperm analysis every 6 to 8 weeks during that period, I will need to go and do to get feedback on whether or not the body's actually responding, as well as the blood work. But by month 3, I should see serious signs of life. And by month 6, most people that do a protocol like this should recover naturally and be near peak levels again. So once we hit month 6, that's the really exciting time for me, where I'm fully healthy and producing proper levels of LH, FSH, and testosterone again. Sperm count should be back up through the roof. I should be looking at my missus and she's just pregnant from going, hell yeah, that much sperm. Once I'm producing all of that, the goal is going to be stopping all drugs. Supplements I'll probably pare back as well because I'm going to want to get most of what I need from just food. And then the regular lifestyle factors that I preach everybody focus on: sleep, diet, managing stress, keeping body fat moderate but not too low, because too low and then I'm going to start to go the other way. Excess body fat can increase aromatase activity, which can raise estrogen and it can blunt fertility. So there's a quick tip if anybody is watching this and natural but they're overweight and they're struggling to knock their misses up. Lose some body fat. I'm not going to say a specific number, but if you look down and you can't see the twig and beans, there's probably too much body fat there to be optimally healthy. So strip that off. The blood tests will confirm if I'm back to where I need to be: LH, FSH, testosterone, estradiol, estrogen, sperm parameters all stable in the green. That will mean I will stop doing all the drugs and we will start having a whole hell of a lot of fun chasing her around the gaff when it's ovulation week. All this to say that if you're in a similar spot, maybe you've been on testosterone for a long time or you've been using PEDs in the past, just know that your fertility can come back. It takes structure, time, support, but the body is incredibly adaptable. But what I'll say is don't wing it. Get tested, work with a doctor, and understand what is happening inside your body. The key here is going to be the blood work, because you can't just blindly see what's going to happen. I'm doing this because I want to set my kids up for the healthiest possible life. And if you're in the same position, I advise you to talk to a professional. Don't just take the advice of a randomer on the internet. But if this helped, and if this was the first time that you're ever meeting me, my name is Matt. I'm the BetterMan coach, and I'm starting to talk more about in-depth parts of men's health, as you will guess from this video. So if you want that kind of value, stay around, subscribe, comment if you've got your own experience with this space. If you have questions or want further videos on this with more detail, go for it. I'm going to do my best to put research studies in the description below to back up some of the things that I've said here, rather than just pretending these have been pulled out of the air. I did use AI to help me do some of this research and sift through all the bullshit, because I didn't want studies that have no founding or studies that have been funded by drug companies. I prefer studies that are funded independently. There is some that are by the drug companies. But yeah, now I'm rambling. So subscribe, comment, like the video if you liked the video, and if you want to get to know more of what I do, there's links down below to go Instagram, all that stuff. You can find me at the BetterMan Coach everywhere. I won't see you next time because I can never look through the camera, but you'll see me, and I appreciate you if you watch this whole video. And if you need help with any of this and want me to talk you through to somebody that can help you better than me, reach out and have a chat.